Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode where I have gathered around a bunch of the pros of Frostborn that have been playing PvP through all of the different cycles of the game. And we are going to talk about, in the last video we talked about weapons and items. And in the next video we're going to be talking, or in this video we're going to be talking about classes. There's quite a few classes in Frostborn, and we are going to be debating which of those classes are the best, which ones need to be buffed, which ones need to be nerfed, and so on. I have here the same group of people, and I'm gonna pull up the classes on my phone. So the first one is the Berserk. Oh man, dang, I'm on my account. Well, this is my account that's normally has them all unlocked, but it doesn't right now. Anyway, so we got the Berserk. We're looking at its stats, at least its level 1 stats. This is not really what I want to be looking at, but that's okay. We can talk about the different stats. So the Berserk's problem is that basically its passive skill, ranged weapons inflict 20% less damage on you, are that's not good enough. And then its skills has no crowd control.
No stuns.
We've
talked about this at great length, actually.
Okay.
It's just the class. I think personally, you should go one way or the other. Where you want to try to bring it into PvP, where we've talked about giving it a stun, giving it a slowing move like a hamstring or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was thinking, I mean, you could just give it 10% of bonus to monsters and turn it into a PvE class. I don't know. I think they should go one way or the other with that.
The thing is, though,
personally,
you can't do too much with this because it's already got a 20% less damage to range classes, and if you put a boss helm on, that's 40%.
Yeah.
So, like, it's got potential to be a good PvP class, but it's lacking that stun or something.
I think
then at that point, would it be too OP? So maybe just make it a straight up PvE class and leave it. I mean, I don't know.
In my opinion, it already is a PvE class. I mean, some people use it in PvE.
I do as well, yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about Jorgen, but even just in general, I mean, melee weapons are the most plentiful for a free-to-play, low-level player, and so the Berserk is a natural choice for using clubs and shovels. Now they've balanced weapons, so it's not as much of an advantage, but it used to be a big part of the PvE game to do the Berserk route.
To change the classes, not only ranged weapons in Kiefer, they only consider that to be a bow, not a wrath staff or any other.
Are you serious? Are you sure?
Yeah.
We tested it on the elixir, the Mage.
We've tested it on the elixir, but we also tested it on berserkers too, because Cook had the berserker, and we tried with wrath staffs and all that. Staffs don't count as a ranged weapon.
Yeah.
So.
And y'all are 100% sure that the staff doesn't count as a ranged weapon for the Berserk. Okay.
We've already put that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well then, I mean, that would be my first suggestion of a change. Is
that on top of that whirlwind skill? It's cool in theory, but giving it a stun would probably just break the class. You know, such a hard-hitting class with a stun, that would break the class. But what it does need is it needs more of a movement skill instead of the whirlwind, or combine the two. Let him do the whirlwind and give him like the illusionist dash to where he can like cyclone his way either to an enemy, through an enemy team, and debuff all their armors all at the same time, or he could use it to get out of there. Like, I need a whirlwind on out of here.
Yeah, that'd be
you know,
sound like a Valkyrie or some shit.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so I like that. So I like the idea of not giving a stun. We don't want to change the class, right? So the idea of this class is theoretically it's good against ranged characters, so make it to where ranged weapons like the wrath staff actually are reduced. I think that it could be even more. I think it could be 30%. Maybe you guys would disagree on that, but I think that
it'd be more competitive.
Okay, so maybe instead of increasing its damage, because it is supposed to be a little bit of at least the squishiest of the heavy armors, maybe you I like your idea of making the whirlwind a dash. In my mind, yeah, you could make it to where it's a dash whirlwind, and then I would even add a slow on there. You know, like a 10% slow. It's not much, but you can dash at a group of people, do a little bit of damage. It's not much because it's still like it's what, 40% at Berserk 4, maybe 60%. Anyways, and then you slow them by 10%. It's not much, but really you're getting a bunch of little things. You're getting a dash. You're getting to actually use a skill. I mean, does anyone ever actually use the whirlwind?
No. I mean,
Highly doubt.
Right?
Yeah, and then I would make the rage active for more than 15 seconds. I mean, it's hard to use that because if you're using it while you're getting shot, like if you're activating it while you're getting shot at, you're losing a lot of time. So let the rage happen for 45 seconds and then make the whirl have a little dash to it. Maybe just try that. Maybe start with that and then see how that goes.
I mean, as of now, pretty much if you go out as Berserker and try to PvP, if you don't kill them within that 15 seconds, you're basically just plate armor and a sword. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah. Okay, next, Ice Mage.
Oh god.
That's crap.
Crib, you want to take this one?
Yeah, take it away.
All right, so I think the whole class needs a complete rework. The ice path is good, but it's hard to hit. It's hard to hit, multiple people on a team. There's a lot of skill to it, So maybe my theory and kind of thought would be to make an ice circle to, this was before the Duelist came out that I was kind of thinking of this, but make like a circle to where you could trap a team in this ice wall circle, and if they try and leave, they get frozen for a little bit, or while they're inside, they get a little bit of, an increased damage taken to them by your team while they're inside this circle. And I mean, the other skill, that little ice shard, it's
That's
pretty
so
useless.
Yeah, it's useless. Yeah. I want to hear y'all's opinion on my thoughts with the Ice Mage because I think has some similarities. I don't like the circle, especially now that the Duelist is out, just because I don't want to do the same thing. But I like the wall. Two things that I could see changing with the wall. One, just you could make it thicker, but actually you give me a thought that I think might even be better. You put it out the wall and it just stays there for 4 seconds. The wall stays there. No enemies can go through that wall, or they will get stunned or they'll get iced and damaged if you hit that wall. That way the Ice Mage can say, I'm splitting your team. You cannot get together. And for 4 seconds, we can now... I mean, you can't move. I mean, I think that would at least be a start.
Yeah, or the ice wall could split off into either 2 or 3 separate walls. Like it's you're making 2 walls instead of 1 or 3 walls or something that are going out in front of you instead.
Yeah. So yeah, I like that too. So you could do a fork. I mean, I think at one point you might get a little too powerful if. Well, actually, no, I don't think it would get too powerful. Yeah, it would just have a purpose. Really, is what it boils down to.
Turn into a control class.
People's tried using it in team PvP before. It just doesn't do much.
Yeah.
So it doesn't do enough to where you're like, oh, this is going to be good for team PvP. And if they're doing a balance rework on these classes, they need to look at Berserk and Ice Mage.
Totally. That's part of the reason we started with them. They need it. They need it the most. Okay, so the ice wall, the ice path, creating an ice wall, making it to where you can't, no one entering that thing. We know they have the programming to do that because they do that with the Helheim and Winter Giants. You can't enter those paths without getting hit. So they can do that. And then with the ice bolt, the frost bolt, I would say if you're going to do, like, the purpose of the ice path, we're still in line with, right? It's designed to be a control class. It's designed to divide the enemy. The Frostbolt is designed to do a lot of damage if you hit them while they're in the ice path. I mean, personally, I think that the Ice Mage could stand to have, like, well, I think he should just be slowing people all the time. You shoot people, maybe slow them a little bit, maybe get stacks, and then you can use that ice path to consume the stacks to do that extra damage. That might be one option. I don't know. It's kind of it's hard to even imagine. I don't think that they should do, for a ranged character, having a bolt you shoot that does less damage or the same damage as your staff is pointless. So they need to either make it do a huge burst of damage, or they need to make it they just need to rework it to something different.
Change it.
Maybe it could be an ice touch, a melee attack, and it does this crazy freeze, or I don't know.
It
slows
could be
them
like the
down,
Northern Ice
maybe does some
Mages, where
damage
you've
to
seen them, they shoot them pretty quick. Whereas the Ice Bull with the Ice Mage, it's pretty slow. You know, it takes time to get to him.
Sorry, what did
I
you
mean-
say?
Oh, I was saying how the Northern Mage, you know how he shoots his skill,
Oh
the
yeah,
Ice
yeah.
Mage, it could be sort of like that. It could probably
Okay.
weaken them too.
Yeah, like you're talking about the mob, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, that would go well with
Yeah,
the
it
wall.
slows
You
you
throw
down
the
a lot too.
and it could be
yeah.
another skill shot. The Ice Mage could be a real skill shot thing where it's like you shoot the wall out and then you shoot out that sorcerer thing. Well, if they're stuck in your wall, they're gonna get hit, and then they're gonna be screwed. And that is in line with the feel of the Ice Mages. If you get hit in my ice wall, you should be screwed. That's the whole point.
Make them dispel. You know, force that dispel, because now when people
have
get stuck
to.
on that ice path, they don't even really care to dispel, because for one, it doesn't last that long, and you're only the one that does the extra damage to them, not your whole family.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, that's a problem.
So it's not really forcing a dispel. They're like, oh, he's Ice Mage, ha ha ha, you know.
Yeah. So definitely, and some of the comments you guys are typing about, you know, basically it needs to have that heat sinking. I think if it's going to be as powerful as the skill we were talking about, probably shouldn't have the heat sinking. But there's a lot of ways the devs can go about this. My personal favorite is to have a second skill shot that is similar to that mob y'all were talking about in the Winter Zone.
Yeah. And sort
but-
of aim it like you do the stacks on Fire Mage, have it aimed like that or something.
Yeah. But the most important thing with the Ice Mage is just to fix the ice path, because it's a cool concept that is completely worthless right now.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Ice Mage. It's just that's it. It's just the idea of it.
Okay,
It's a
so
tier mage, and it'd be nice if you could have them in team play.
yeah, it is definitely a team class, and it would be so cool if they could get it fixed. Okay, Pathfinder seems good, balanced.
Balanced. I think so.
Pathfinder's good. Yeah, definitely balanced for team play.
All right,
That's
healer,
what it's for. Healer's perfect, I
I
think.
think it was balanced, yeah.
rogue.
Man, I used Rogue 4 the other day and slapped a Shaman 4, which was really nice, but you know, it's just one of those classes
It's
that
hard.
It's hard to
It's
get
hard to
close
judge.
people with. Yeah, it's
Nobody really uses it.
yeah, exactly. It's one of those
So-
classes that could be good, but people don't use it.
Yeah, I like rogue how it is personally. I think it's one of the best PvE classes, and the fact that it can even be used in PvP makes me happy. Like I would be probably fine with the rogue even if it couldn't be used in PvP, just because it's such a phenomenal PvE class. I think that if I were to make a difference with the rogue, that you could be invisible to players when you do the Spirit Horse. No, that'd be too OP. The Loki Strike could be a
That's what I
status
don't like.
effect. Here's what it could be. You use the Loki Strike, and it gives you a status effect, and then you could have some, I don't know, about a speed boost or something PvP related, maybe a blip of invisibility, I don't know, but just to kind of get you in the right place. Like, I don't know if a half a second of invisibility, it would give you that just little window that maybe a competitive edge. But more importantly, it would make Loki Strike more valuable, because instead of having to do a longer hit, it would just be a status effect that would happen immediately. And when you did get that next, you'd play normal. And when you did get that next hit, you'd have that buff to it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to suggest. Whenever you try to get behind someone and do that Loki Strike, it's very slow. And
So slow.
But if you don't stun, like if you're not close when you stun them and get behind them real quick, by the time you
got
start to do
enough
your
time.
Loki Strike, they're already running away.
Yeah,
So you
totally.
don't get your Loki Strike off. That's the only
Exactly.
thing I hate about Rogue right now.
Yeah.
So maybe making that faster and adding that cloaking or whatever you were saying, that'd
Yeah.
be good too.
Okay, well, I would say this is good. I was kind of brainstorming as we were talking, but I'm thinking, in my opinion, the devs should do conservative changes. Don't create something that could break the
Right.
game. So I would say right now the only thing I would change is make the Loki Strike an instant status effect, kind of like you hit a potion, you immediately have Loki Strike activated. Your next hit gets that bonus if it follows the rules. And that way you can play normally. And that's not going to break PvE, and it's not going to make that big of a difference in PvP, but then see how that goes and see if that gets a little bit more play. And if it does, then keep it. If it's not enough, then maybe next time add a half second of invisibility or something.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Okay, sharpshooter.
I think sharpshooter is pretty
like
balanced.
Pretty balanced. Okay, so
I don't even play it, and I like it. It does what it needs to do. It has a job, it has a role, and it does it well.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we've got 2 that need major buffing. We've got 4 that are great. We did have a suggestion for the rogue anyways, but we're still fine if nothing changes. And then now we're in the fire mage.
Man, I've been using Fire Mage a lot here lately, and I love it. Before the runes, I would say more HP. Not a lot, because they nerfed it a while back, and they took some of the HP away, and I was a little sad about that. But
I think they did too much to take the HP. They took too much HP away.
Yeah. Maybe give a little bit back, and then that class would be used more, because right now it's just so squishy.
Yeah, you'll get
Now that
2
there's
shot by a
runes,
flashing.
I mean,
you can kind of give it a little bit more health with runes. So
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
can-
They're
Say leave it alone.
I don't
Yeah.
personally. I think the fire mage is, I mean, it is so good in PvE, which has to
Yeah,
be
it's great.
taken in account. I mean, you guys probably watched the video where that guy, was able to solo skull on hard
100
mode.
hit.
Yep.
It's
Yeah, I saw that.
insane, and that was before runes. And so I think that the fire mage is the Frostborn's glass cannon, and I personally love it how it is. Before runes, I would have said nerf it actually, but just because if you can defend it, it just does so much damage. Or actually, even with runes, I have a concern about a maxed out fire mage with plus 60% damage
That's what I'm doing right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually putting runes into my Fire Mage because I use it for PvE and PvP.
Uh-huh.
And we use it in team play a lot. And if they don't focus me, I'll just sit
Yeah.
back there and melt their whole team.
You
I'll make
melt
pay
them.
for
It just melts them so fast, and they have to shut down the fire mage. And that's what I love about it, is that it is a high risk, high reward type of class. And if you've got a really good team on you that can basically be centered, I mean, that's how a lot of times when we play in League of Legends competitively, that's how a lot of ADCs will build, is like, I can take on the entire team if you can just get me 10 seconds. But if you can't give me 10 seconds, I'm going to be dead in a few seconds,
Yeah, if I get taunted, I'm dead instantly. So, it's
Everything
I love playing it.
A fire mage could even melt a tank in team PvP. You wouldn't even need a fire bow. We can still melt a tank fairly fast, even with a fire mage.
Now, the protector is a pretty good counter to the fire mage, right? I mean,
Yeah, with the taunt.
It is good when you reflect, but I mean, how you need a fire bow to quick melt a tank. If you're going the melt a tank strat, and you're using the poison staff, you're using the fire bow,
yeah.
and you're just trying to get that protector down faster than anybody else.
Yes.
I
got
mean,
it.
and if you're using a fire mage, you go for everybody else, but I mean, it can still take down a tank fairly fast, if you're
I see what
focusing
you're
on
saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, for me, when we were doing team play and we switched to, when the tank melting was just such a big deal, when we switched to just using dispels for our tank, it was like no one could take it down. You just had to wait till the dispel went down. But I know that a lot has changed because the Fire Mage just keeps getting more powerful with the Fire Mage 4 and now with the runes. It's just,
I think Fire Mage will be super OP with a lot of HP runes, man. That's what I've been going for. I want to max out that HP as much as I can and maybe add a little bit more damage, and that class is going to be very crazy in PvP. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat.
so I agree with you, but I'm really curious in a team play, and especially if you could work it right. As y'all were talking about scaling yesterday, or when we were talking about items, one thing about Frostborn is you want to scale where you already have numbers. And so scaling where, the Fire Mage that doesn't have a lot of health, giving it extra health is I wonder how effective that is compared to, you know, if you're doing 200 DPS or 300 DPS and then you get plus 60% to players. Now you're looking at 500 DPS or whatever ridiculous number. But obviously that would be very expensive too.
Level 5 runes.
Level 5 runes and of all the same type.
Just to get all level 3 runes. It was like more than $300.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, level 5 runes, that's going to be, wow.
Yeah.
Probably like 2K.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a lot, and I'm not going to probably ever get there. So, unless they change it. So,
Yeah.
okay, so we've talked about the Fire Mage, and so it sounds like we're just saying leave it alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Protector.
It's good for what it's for. It's a tank.
So,
You can't make it too good because then it'll be.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
So my thought on the Protector is that it is it's too powerful at Protector 1. I argue that it is the most powerful level 1 class. A Protector 1 with full gear will beat any other class with full gear at level 1. Would y'all agree with that?
Well, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean.
Just because the Nord Sword and Shield and that block is just ridiculous. It blocks too much.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't play
switch to
Protector
Fireball.
or pay attention, but isn't the only real huge difference between level 1 and level 4 just the health?
Exactly.
You know,
So
I mean, you get a little bit, you get a little bit more of a stun and a little bit more of a taunt time, but I mean, there's no great increase other than the health pool of
Exactly.
the levels. I mean, now if it was like 0.25 second stun level 1 and then a 2-second stun on level 4 or whatever it is, you know, that's a huge leap. But I mean, it's not. It's so minuscule that it's just really the health that goes up majorly throughout the levels.
Yeah. So the
You also don't see people running in solo though either, so it's a team class, you know. It's for a family.
No,
I mean, that's what
recently,
it's for.
Recently with runes, though, you'll see people running around with Protector Dragon Sword, and we'll pull a
Max
quick
out
one off
their
of you.
damage runes and whatnot.
Yeah, and then they'll taunt reflect you and hit you with a dragon sword twice, and then whoever they just taunted and reflected is dead.
On stream. Wow.
Yeah, so that I think that the Protector so I actually am not talking about what y'all just said because that's I don't know how to shut that down because I haven't experienced it. But what I think Kafir should do is that they should make the shield do 50. Every shield should do 50% more blocking, and then Protector 1 doesn't get any bonus, or maybe they get a little bonus. Let's say they get enough to where it would be the equivalent of 2, and then Protector 3 would get 2.5, and then Protector 4 would get the 3 that it has, or maybe it would be better to get it at Protector 4 to get it up to like a 3.5, not much more, but basically it doesn't scale well. The class doesn't scale well from 1 to 4, and so my thought is create an internal scaling, and I would say make the shield better in general for other classes, because to go from 1 to 3 times as much, nothing else in Frostborn is that extreme. You don't see a class that says, hey, you get 300% extra damage on this weapon. You know, like it's just something about it's a little off. So that's my suggestion. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
I mean, it's meant to be the tank, you know, on a team setting. You know, you kind of need to block a lot of damage. So I agree that, you know, a level 1 is a little, I guess, maybe too powerful. It's been a while since I've been on level 1 class, so I don't.
Now, if
go
they
up against all level 4 classes, the level 4 tank is perfect because you can still melt that tank. Like Toast is running tank for us right now, and he still gets melted.
So
I'm using Fire Mage, and I'm still melting the enemy tank.
I mean,
so
honestly,
in my mind, that would be that it's not balanced. They need a slight buff. They maybe 3.5 on the block,
well,
on a 3-point on a.
Maybe
yeah,
the level
I
4
mean,
class a little bit,
because
not
you can still melt a tank fairly fast. You know, if you're going to melt a tank strat, you know, almost in the time of Ebola, he's dead. You know, so what is Ebola? 4 to 5 seconds. Yeah, you can melt a tank in that amount of time.
Okay, so if they increase the block to 3.5, would y'all be okay with that? If they just increased, if they did a scaling thing, but a Protector 4 was just a little bit more, had a little bit more blocking power, would y'all be cool with that?
That would be.
I would say yes, but this new legendary weapon, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point.
Weapon coming out is you're gonna kill the whole team first, and then probably say, "Go ahead, tank. You can zone out." Especially me being Fire Mage, I'm not even targeting that tank. I don't want none of that damage.
Okay, so, that is a great point. I forgot about the new weapon. Okay, let's just say Protector stay as is for now. We'll see how this new weapon affects things.
It's hard to say anything because the weapons aren't really out and we can't test them.
Yeah.
So
From OBT,
Protector could be broken right now and we just don't know it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, Hunter.
Balance.
I think it's fine.
Balance, okay.
It's one of those things that does where it needs. It does what it needs to do. You know.
Yeah. All right, Sorcerer.
Really good for
I
it.
just think the circle needs to be a little bigger.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would agree with that. Make it a little bit bigger to where it's used in zones too. You know, class in the zones and make people try to counter it. You know, change up PvP. I would like.
I have an idea of a change, but I don't know if it's going to be too big of a change or what. But now, what if the Sorcerer, instead of laying down the circle, creates an aurora around him, to where everybody in that aurora does that added damage, and it follows him. You know, it's an aurora around him, kind of like the healer circle.
Did you play Command and Conquer?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Okay, so aurora is an airplane, and aura is what you're talking about.
Yeah, aura, whatever. Anyways, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You know, I like that.
I don't know if it would be too broken, or you know, I think it would make it more viable, because if you see that circle pop, you just run back and they just wasted it. Their whole skill was a waste, and I mean they don't really got much else, you know, and. You know, I think that alone would make it viable in PvP 100%. You know, if you could follow your team and kind of give them a boost as they're chasing them down or whatever, that's invaluable right there.
Yeah, so I think, you know, the Sorcerer's squishy, so I think that it is one of those things that I think that would not be too OP, because I think people would just decide, well, do we just want to melt the Sorcerer, or do we want to run away, like you were saying? I think it would be a little bit easier to control. Now, personally, I'm a little biased on this because I have still visceral memories of being able to shut down a team, and I'm curious if the Sorcerer's even been tried enough for other people to experience it. But I do think that would be easier to use, especially the Circle of Blessing. Either make it bigger or make it an aura. Because it is very infuriating when you throw that little tiny circle down and then they move just out of range, you know.
Or you can make it an aurora instead.
An aurora, yes, and then you have a stealth bomber that bombs them and kills them.
I was like, what the hell is an aurora? I didn't even know what that was. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well then, yeah, I think I like the idea of making. I don't think they should change the numbers. The numbers are all there. The Sorcerer might already be OP, but just no one has been able to use it yet, or get a system for using it yet, which functionally makes it not OP, at least of now. But it could be one of those. People are too scared to give up their healer, you know, because the healer is such an obvious difference.
Oh, yeah.
So I would say that trying to make it easier to use, the curse, making the curse bigger, or an aura. For some reason, I don't like the curse being an aura, just because I liked being able to place it. Yeah, I would say being able to place it felt good. Maybe make it a little bit bigger, and then, but I do really think the Circle of Blessing being an aura is gonna really help the Sorcerer be used. That in combination with the Fire Mage, giving it another 50% on top of runes, on top of Fire Mage 4. I mean, you're talking about, potentially 800 damage per second. It's insane what the numbers could do. And so I like that. I don't think they should tweak the Sorcerer too much because it could be one of those 0 to 60 just super OP in a heartbeat.
I guess I kind of accidentally at one point found the hard counter to Sorcerer when we went to Giants one day.
Okay, what's that?
So we entered at bottom. There was 3 of us. It was me, Ruckus, and Kid Friendly. And Kid Friendly was a Thrasher. We go down, and the team pushes us at the bottom, and Kid gets melted immediately. He's already down.
Okay.
And they lay the circles, and I went up and just I taunt reflected all of them, and it killed 3 of them.
That circle.
Yeah, all 4 of them were in the circle. It killed 3 of them, and only their tank survived.
Yeah, so all that extra damage they did to themselves. So
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. Well, I don't know if that breaks the Sorcerer, because you're obviously skilled enough to do that.
That was a goated play for sure.
And that was a goat move right there. So,
well, I was thinking about it. Even if in a different scenario they do it, my team's starting to back up. I just pop my reflect. I'm the only person. I'm the closest person they're all hitting. So it's either hit me or don't hit anything.
Or waste your skill, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a good counter to that. So that'd be something we keep in mind when we start seeing sorcerers around.
Yeah. I think that's good. Okay, Illusionist.
Jay and
I think it's
Phenom always
good.
think it's good class and solos, but
I
I always
think you
tell
need-
them it's not.
Just a
It
little.
could definitely be better. But
Jay, what's your thought?
Just more damage, honestly. Clones are good. I mean,
Would
I,
you put
I
the
learned-
damage in the clones or in the staff?
staff for sure.
Or would you put the damage in damage to players? I mean, I don't think the class has any danger of being OP in PvE, so I think that they could just do it in the staff
I think the
itself.
class is you already got a mage class that does a lot of damage, which is a fire mage. You got the ice mage, which is supposed to be more of the tanky mage. It had the most health previously, and then you got the illusionist, who's kind of an in between,
Yeah.
who can have these illusions that take away damage from you and the team, and it gives out a decent amount of damage. I think maybe a little bit of buff, but if you give it too much of a buff, why would you not just run illusionist instead of fire mage?
Okay,
'Cause
so
you got-
what about this? My way that I would want to fix the illusionist is just to half its cooldowns. Half its cooldown on clones, half its cooldown on blink. That would be 30-second cooldowns instead of 1 minute. That it's not like gonna change the game, but when he's got his clones up, he does more damage than a fire mage for those 7 seconds.
You can definitely lower the cooldowns down for sure.
Wait, is Illusionist 4 cooldown still a minute?
I don't know if it's. I unfortunately.
I'll log on quick and I'll check.
Yeah, log on. I don't have my account's messed up right now, so I can't see. Okay, well, while he's checking that, let's talk about the Bandit.
Bandit is really good counter against the Hunter.
I think it needs more damage too, to be honest. Not much damage. There's a bunch of
Every other
stuns.
class it sucks.
I think just needs more damage.
Yeah, I
Okay,
agree with that.
well, what about making it just tankier? Because the Bandit's supposed to be a tank. What if they increase its health?
Yeah, I'd like that too. It could go either way. More health or more damage would make that.
I think you can't have a lot of damage and a lot of CC and stuns on one character, because that's what breaks a character. If you have a
Yes.
lot of CC and stuns, so you have to give it a little bit more health. So while they're bullet or he's able to stand there and hit them, not just get melted 2 times and have to run away and then use his skills to get away.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so yeah, I would say Bandit, give it a little bit more health, and then it's not much, just a little bit. It's the tankiest class of medium armor. Well, besides the Druid, which, but the original class. And so just add some armor, add some health on it, and that'll be good. Thrasher.
So that's a touchy subject because a lot of us play Thrasher and a lot of us hate Thrasher. Even some of us that play Thrasher hate Thrasher. So I personally think that if they change stun traps, that Thrasher will be completely fine. I don't think it needs to be changed whatsoever if they change stun traps. Other than that, right now it's too overpowered with the use of all their stuns plus stun traps, because you're already up close brawling with them.
Yeah.
So laying those stun traps is easy.
So if they make the Thrasher, or if they make the stun trap where it takes a second to place it, like we talked about in the last video, then the Thrasher's fine. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
So
I
with
agree.
Illusionist, I just checked. The cooldown on the illusions is still a minute, and the dash is 45 seconds.
Okay. So yeah, I would say I would half it, honestly. I would just half all of its skills, and that way, because that would make the class really fun, and it would make it like annoying to fight the illusionist because they're constantly moving out of the way or putting up doubles, and it's just like, oh, I hate you, you're so annoying.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I agree.
It's actually really good idea.
It's not overpowered because he wouldn't do too much
cooldown
damage.
times are so unbalanced.
Yeah.
Like you can get the assassin strike back in I think 40 seconds, but then you gotta wait a minute for your clones or your dash. That makes zero sense. I think they need to look at all these cooldowns on these class 4s and rework them.
Rework the
really need
cooldowns.
to.
Thrash as well. Thrash was like 30 seconds for both abilities, I think.
Wow.
That's kind of OP, right? I mean, we said that nothing needed to be changed on there, but when we look at the class or the skill cooldowns, there's a lot that needs to be changed.
Yeah, and personally, I think all the skills could be lower in the. Not all of them. Obviously, there's certain ones that are too OP. Don't do that. But most of the skills, I'd say 60 to 80% of the skills could have lower cooldowns. It would make the game more dynamic. That you're using more skill based than just the click and shoot.
Not only that, but you would have longer drawn out fights, and fights wouldn't last 3-4 seconds, and then it's over.
Yep, I agree. Okay, Shaman.
Oh,
sorry.
Nerf the cooldown. Please nerf the cooldown for the fear. It's too low. I think
What
it's
is
30
it?
seconds. I'm pretty
Let
sure
me
it's 30
check.
seconds.
I can tell you right now.
I mean,
Yeah, it definitely needs to be at least like a minute.
It's 40 seconds.
but
40
does
seconds
the
is fine if you're getting your skills back in 30, right? See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, they
See,
need to
both
balance
both
all
skills
these
are
out
40 seconds.
and let these people get their skills back around the same time, right? Like to make it
I think
fair.
it just seems too short because the shaman is so tanky, so it takes so long to kill him. He's already got his skills back by the time you're about to kill him, and he's just, fearing you out of there, popping a salve, ready to go around
I mean, y'all
15
aren't getting
or whatever it is.
You're not getting killed by shamans, right? I mean, y'all aren't gonna.
No, I mean,
yeah.
they
So
don't
I
do
would-
it
He said he
damage.
can't kill a shaman because they keep fearing him away and solving, so it makes him mad. He wants to kill that. shaman
Yeah.
so
Okay.
bad.
Well then.
I mean, I don't
Then-
think you need to change anything about him.
Yeah, I
Honestly,
think the
he
shaman's
he
good.
is what he is. He's a tank mage. That's what he
tank
is.
support.
Yeah.
Tank support and yeah. So I really like the shaman the way it is because I think that the Frostborn needs a few more tanky classes. Like I think that the protector maybe could go up a little bit so it couldn't be melted quite as quick. I think the druid. I think the druid's probably going to be fine with runes because apparently you can get up to 1,000 health. So maybe that's going to be fine. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe
What-
if anything, the fear, the time that the fear is active on a person, it's 7 seconds that a person is feared. So let's say he's running in the opposite direction for 7 seconds, then he's got to run 7 seconds back to the team. That's 14 seconds he's out of the battle. I don't know, maybe if it's really that big of a deal, take it down a notch, but I doubt. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
To me, unless the shaman comes in and it's like, well, the shaman, if there's a shaman on that team, then we're gonna always lose because they're just gonna do blank. They always cut out our archer. They always cut out whatever. They always do whatever, and we're always gonna lose unless that's the statement. If it's just okay, if it's making it so annoying it's not fun to play, then sure. But I don't think that's what's happening. I think that it's just the shaman is the counter to Jay. It sounds like.
Well,
And not
I
to
still
kill
managed
Jay, just to get away from him.
Yeah, like, get away from me.
I still managed to kill shamans, but what Cryptic said basically halves the timer of the fear. 40 seconds compared to 14 seconds, that's literally almost one half of the timer itself, leaving the cooldown basically 26 seconds left.
Yeah. I like it.
I mess with Jay a lot. I'll run Shaman. We're not on a team. I'll enter the zone. I'll fear him away. Be like, why you run away from me, Jay? Just fear him again. Why you run away from me, Jay? You don't like that.
That's great. Okay, so the assassin. Would y'all say that if we did the nerf that on the new dagger, the way that we talked about, that'd be enough, or is it still not enough?
If you don't nerf the dagger, that cooldown on the assassin strike needs to be up.
Definitely.
Definitely up something there, because you get it back way too quick. Say they mess up their assassin strike, they'll just run away and get it right back, or if you're barely surviving running from them, all of a sudden they're hitting you with it again. It's very quick. I think it's only 40 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say it'd be fine if the when they're not wearing a dragon set with the new dagger. If that stuff gets nerfed, or if the dagger gets nerfed, then leave it as it is. But like I said, I would like to see them go and check all these cooldowns on every class and change them up to where they're fair, where they're balanced.
Okay. Witch Doctor.
I haven't really used it enough.
You know, they just made the change to the flask. It's really hard to know how.
Yeah.
So let's skip the Witch Doctor for now. Let's just say, let's keep it as is. Alchemist. Any immediate thoughts, or the same as Witch Doctor?
It's pretty balanced to me, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I think it's a really balanced class.
I think Jay and Phenom's the only two that really use that. I haven't even used it yet. So
Okay.
I have no clue.
I've killed some people with it, but I've also died, you know.
I like Witch Doctor too. I don't know.
It's a. I really like the Witch Doctor. But I don't feel like I'm too OP. It's kind of a tanky. It's the tanky Flask class, and then you've got. It's fun to play. I really like the Witch Doctor, but I'm not. I don't think it's OP. I'm not like oh no, Witch Doctor. And then the Alchemist is similar. It's like. It's just the damage dealing version of the Alchemist. I'm not very good at the Alchemist, but it doesn't seem too OP. But I guess it's hard to know. We may come back later and say, oh, we didn't. Someone had.
Well, the thing is, you definitely don't want to underestimate an Alchemist either. You know, if you're going against an Alchemist, don't think you're just going to run him over, because you'll die.
Yeah, if you think if you think it's a tied game, you've lost.
Yeah, basically.
And that's what, definitely with the Flask. Okay, so Druid. What do y'all think about Druid?
I think
Maybe more damage.
not a lot, but like maybe just a smidge more weapon damage, like
10%.
What was it before they nerfed it? Before was it 30% before they nerfed it before?
I mean, there's no add-on for damage at all, right?
There was, but then they nerfed it once.
Yeah,
they nerfed the damage down to 0.
But it was only when like he was in bear form or something, right? That you got that bonus.
Yeah.
How about
damage
instead
or
of
something.
increasing the damage, just increase the bleed damage?
Yeah,
The
okay.
bleed damage is really minor. Yeah, you hardly even notice it, but
It burns through a dispel too. It makes the bleed go through a dispel as well, so that could do something.
Oh, okay.
I think you should be able to use your bird dispel, your skill bird dispel, even if you're stunned as a bear.
Wait,
because...
I thought you could.
No, okay, hold on.
You have to time it.
Yeah, you have to time it slightly before you get stunned. I mean, you can't do it like really early, and it has to be perfect. Like the timing has to be perfect. But if you're already stunned, you can't use your dispel, your bird dispel at all.
Okay.
So maybe they could do that, because if a druid is stunned, he can't dispel his whole team.
Yeah.
He can't dispel himself.
So if y'all get hit by a stun trap as a team,
Yep.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, I would say the two changes. So for me, I like there being a few tanky classes. That's part of the reason I like the Witch Doctor. It's freaking hard to kill a Witch Doctor. And so I would say to start off, just to make it more team play, do what you just said, where you can use your Crow Flock skill even when you're stunned. And that would be the start, because that's what's amazing about the Druid right now. The Druid's a great counter to the Archmage. The Druid's a great counter to basically just getting in a bad situation.
Too, he can dispel your whole team from a taunt. He can save your entire team.
Exactly. You can save your whole team. That's great for when you're just in a situation where you're like, crap, we are going to lose this fight. if we could just get a do-over, and the Druid says, I can give you that do-over, and so make it to where he's not going to get. So yeah, basically that would be the only change I'd make right now. If you still needed to buff it, personally I would make that bear form increase your armor even more. So that so you got 1,000 health and even more armor. But that may be too OP.
Then you can't give him any more damage either. You can't have a super tank with decent damage. Then you can't give him any more. Don't touch his damage then if you're going to give him more defense.
That's my opinion. I think there needs to be a few classes that you just can't. It's just going to be hard to kill them, but they're not going to. You're not worried about them killing you either.
It's like you have a mini boss on your team.
Yeah. Okay, Archmage.
I think it needs damage.
Damage and the Archmage skill where you can sneak, like go invisible. Now you can see like this white cloud on the ground, and before when they first came with Archmage, you couldn't see that.
Oh, really? So
there's like a fog. There's like a fog that follows right where the Archmage is, and you can see an Archmage when him and his team are invisible. It just looks like a fog on the ground, and it's pretty easy to spot actually. Yeah, so they definitely need to put that back.
Okay, so yeah, so basically, wow, I did not realize that because I haven't played competitively in several months. Okay, well then, yeah, so then buff the Archmage. So would y'all say make his skill invisible again?
Yeah. Bring it back to when they first released Archmage to where no one could see you in that Archmage, because we used it a lot. We used to do the Archmage taunt. You know, teams wouldn't see us, and all of a sudden we're taunting them. That's what it was used for.
Yeah.
But now if they're looking on the ground, which it's very easy to spot, they'll see that white cloud, and they'll just throw like a hammer at it. One of us gets stunned, they see all of us, right? So it's nowhere near as good, and like you rarely see it in team play anymore.
Okay, yeah, we'll mention that. But then if you just change that, you would say also increases damage. I don't think you don't want it to be too good in.
You do one or the other. I feel like. If you increase the damage, don't change the skill. But if you're gonna change the skill, don't do the damage.
Got it.
I
Okay.
think it feels fine.
I also don't like the polymorph ability, the chicken. How they
it's hard to use now.
It is, and I mean, it's just the chickens move. It was all right when they didn't move and they just got to stand there and be like, all right, I'm a chicken. Now I don't know what to do. But then now they get turned into a chicken and they all just run back, and it's like, okay, well, no.
Okay.
Yes, maybe slow the speed down of the chickens to like a slow walk or something.
Yeah, they could slow the speed of the chicken. Or what if they just made it not a skill shot? It's just an area around you. You click it and it's going to just, it's like an oh crap button. And it just turns everyone into a chicken within a certain radius of you.
But then actually that'd be a good defense against a taunt. Say you're around your team and then a tank pulls up and you turn him into a chicken so he can't taunt you. That would be pretty cool, I guess. Yeah,
because you have to be pretty far away from the whole fight to be able to turn him into a chicken. It's not like right in front of you. There's a little gap. That would work. Or
that long reach right now. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Maybe just bring it a little closer or something.
Oh, and there's a delay to it. That another thing that they could just do is get rid of the chicken spell's delay, because that was the most annoying thing is when I would try to line it up and I would hit, and then they would just happen to move their direction. They didn't know I was trying to hit them with the chicken. I was invisible. And they changed directions at the wrong moment, and I missed. I was just like, oh, that's so frustrating. So if they even just made it to where it cast a little faster.
What I think would be kind of cool too, and that would bring just a little bit of difference to the game. Maybe have it, 1 month you could turn people into chickens. The next month you could turn them into cows, or just something. It would just be a little more fun. Or, for the holiday, turn them into a snowman, or turn them into a turkey. Turn them into a little clover or whatever. It just, I don't know, do something. It's just a chicken all the time. It's like, why a chicken?
That's the typical polymorph. Okay, well, I have to go, but this was a good start. We obviously didn't talk about the duelist, and we didn't talk about runes, but maybe in a future video we will broach that subject. And honestly, we can talk about the duelist numbers, but maybe we'll just wait until we can actually see it in action. And so hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for, you know, these, please thank these guys in the comments for taking the time to have this discussion, because it's stuff like this that helps Frostborn. It's the players that are playing competitively that realize, oh, this isn't working, or this is working too well, that are able to truly balance Frostborn. Also, if you think of something that we missed, maybe there's something at a low level that we're like, oh, we didn't, like when I was talking about the Protector 1 being so strong at level 1, it is important that that Frostborn stays balanced throughout its cycle. So if you know something that's like, oh, blank is super OP or blank is super worthless at level 1 or level 2, please put in the comments and we'll send it over to the devs. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.